Richard Hernandez. Pertinent and non-redundant. State your name.
Good morning, I'm Richard Hernandez, and I live in the city of Tucson and Pima County, for the record. I want to take a minute to visit with you because I've had a chance to talk to the Election Commission. You actually appointed the Election Commission. You appointed someone who was an expert. The experts are coming to you now, and they're suggesting to you that they have some ideas. I say to you in the audience, because I'm a voter and I live in Pima County, actually I live in District 2 for the record. It's really clear to me that if we don't protect the integrity of the vote, if my vote doesn't count, then we're not a true democratic system. I can tell you, if you've never had a chance to witness swearing in of new American citizens, what's the first thing a federal judge tells people? Register to vote. As a director of a funeral home, I buried many of our veterans. They paid the ultimate price for freedom, liberty, and our democratic method. And you know what that is? The vote. So when I hear comments about cost, it upsets me greatly. There is no cost, no dollar cost that is worth the life of our veterans who put their life on the line so that we would have the privilege of voting. When I hear risk, you know, I can stub my toe here and I can sue you and there's a risk. When I hear that, that's nonsense. I call on this board, which is greatly democratic, to represent the people that you represent. It's a shock to me to think that this board, which is majority Democrat, will not support a system that has fail-safe, check, recheck, and yes, there might be the human error, Chuck Huckelberry, but I'm happy with that. I don't think people deliberately go out to cheat. So please, listen to your experts. That's why you appointed them. That's why you have a commission. And I can tell you this, I being in District 2, to me, this is a reason for impeachment or recall. If you do not ensure that the vote, my vote, their vote, is counted, double counted, triple checked, quadruple checked, to make sure there's no cheating, so that when you sit in that chair, you can feel comfortable that we, the people, have voted for you there. So please, listen to your experts, and don't worry about costs, because the costs are so minute. And the human error, like I said, I'd rather err on the human side, where again, I just believe people are honest. I trust you to be honest to protect us and me, the voter.
William Baird.
Madam Chair,
Supervisor Leader.
before the gentleman comes up to speak, although you can have it to the microphone, I'd just like to note that the District 5 representative on the Election Integrity Committee informed me that she was opposed to both of these items. Just for clarity's sake.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is William Beard. I'm the representative from District 1 on the Election Integrity Commission. I'd just like to start off by quoting something from the bylaws of the Election Integrity Commission. What it is the Election Integrity Commission was set up and designed to do. The Pima County Election Integrity Commission is chartered as an advisory group reporting to the Pima County Board of Supervisors. The purpose is to help improve the conduct of elections by examining the systems and processes behind them in order to improve functioning of and public trust in the Pima County electoral process. Now, I'm old enough to remember when civics was still taught in school, and while the name has changed, there is one thing that every elementary school kid still understands the concept of. It's something simple called checks and balances. That term doesn't appear in the Arizona Constitution, it doesn't appear in the US Constitution, but it is a fundamental building block of our democratic society. When you folks, as the ones in charge of directing what goes on in the election department, take under consideration Mr. Huckelberry's recommendation for removing precinct scanners because they're too costly, too cumbersome, whatever term wants to be used, you are in essence saying to those kids out there, checks and balances aren't as important anymore. when the Arizona Constitution was defining the different responsibilities for elections, they said we don't want one individual, we don't want two individuals, we want as many people as possible watching every step of the process. They designed a system where you as the responsibility for what goes on election day. You've got the treasurer involved, you've got the county recorder involved, all elected officials. They even went so far as to insist that when it comes to school board elections, the school superintendent gets involved and takes the board of supervisors out of the process. Elections are too important. The successive legislatures designed procedures, secretaries of state, governors, legislators from all the political parties have worked over the years to define a system that has interlocking checks and balances so no one individual can have access to determining what goes on election day. We want as many eyeballs as possible watching. Whether you count, anybody in this room is responsible for counting. There are eyeballs watching what they do. When you take away the precinct scanners, you are in essence saying we want fewer eyeballs watching what goes on in Pima County elections. Whether it's the audit that goes on, that we're
I'm sorry,
requesting.
sir, your time is up.
Thank you for your time.
Christopher Cole. So tell me before you start, and it's not part of your time, the flower?
Buddy Poppy, VFW Buddy Poppy, I wear that to, the conversation started to help people remember just what it costs for our freedom.
Thank you.
And also, I was expecting to talk on both issues separately. So, unless you're going to give me 6 minutes, I'm going to try and muddle through by combining the two.
Okay. You don't want to usually are to the point.
All right. Good morning. For those who have forgotten or are new to these shindigs, I'm Christopher Cole, and I reside here in Tucson, Arizona. The Pima County Election Integrity Commission is requesting a test during the next primary election on the early ballots, auditing them according to the same general principles as are applied to all of the other ballots cast at the precinct level. The same principle. Nothing special, nothing unusual. Is there going to be a problem? Well, there's problems with everything that happens. The costs and troubles that are going to happen if this test is approved are minute compared to the benefits. Election fraud was at one time considered to be so rare as to not be worth considering. There are reports, increasing reports, of election fraud throughout the country. Plus, of course, the old standbys of Chicago in specific and Illinois in general, among others. Just one of the incidences that have come up here recently, I'd like to mention, 35,750 people during the 2012 general election in North Carolina apparently voted twice. Once in North Carolina and once somewhere else. 130 dead people were on the rolls in North Carolina, 81 of whom voted long after they were dead. There are increasing reports of voter fraud, election fraud. And some of them here in Tucson, in Pima County. The RTA election is still being fought over. The audit of the early ballots and the precinct scanners are ways of telling the person on the street that the elections have integrity, that they're being conducted with as little fraud as is possible. It's not what you believe, It's not what I believe concerning election fraud. It's what Juan Yederstrom on the street believes. And increasingly, with all of these reports coming out throughout the country, election fraud is being considered normal. And confidence in elections is dying out. The Board of Supervisors needs to step up and increase the confidence in our elections. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paul.